Alright, fiends, let's fucking do this. Mr. Monster, over your dead body. Tonight on the Midnight Chamber. That's right. We're doing it. My thoughts on this Mr. Monster record. The very first one, the only full length. Over the years, I've been pretty vocal about this fucking record. And, alright, what can I really say about this? Well, let's start at the beginning. Dropped in 2001. After, a couple of years of writing off of the Songs from the Crypt demo, which is pretty legendary at least in the East Coast horror punk scene, probably the whole world at this point. Mr. Monster has garnered a hell of a cult following over the years. So, 2001, the album drops. Okay, I will straight up tell you, back in the day, there wasn't a ton of hype around this, but there wasn't a ton of hype around really anything. I mean, if it wasn't Misfits related, this genre in general has always been extremely nichey, extremely underground. Even the few, really the only, 2-3 bands that have horror punk cred, the Misfits, really anything Danzig related, the Cramps, I guess you could argue the Alkaline Trio, AFI, AFI up until The Art of Drowning. There aren't a lot of bands that have dipped into this genre, let alone stayed, that have anything more than really a cult following. So when 2001 was, when a lot of these records were popping in 2001, it was guys like me, girls, guys, girls, whatever. We were hunting this stuff down, word of mouth, through the early internet days. Yeah, I know I'm rambling, but I don't want to get right into the thick of this just yet. So this pops in 2001. Really, the whole project was, for the most part, it was Jason Trioxin, JV Bastard, for that, went on to Darrow Chemical Company, Gotham Road, Michael Graves' band. Of course, Jason Trioxin went on, he played with Blitzkid, he played with Wednesday 13, he played with Michael Graves. The little Jersey scene that they had was really incestuous. And also, the album was produced by George Grant, who we all know from the Serpentines. So that's really cool. The album came out on Dismal Abysmal Records, which put out a lot of the Brickbats material. Brickbats being a New York, New Jersey horror punk act from the 90s, early 2000s. I think they're still going now. They took a long break because one of the members passed away. And that label also put out some Empire Hideous stuff, The Brides, whatnot. This was the only Mr. Monster full length, but the only Mr. Monster record that came out on that label. And in 2005, if I remember right. Well, anyway, there was a reissue that had maybe half the tracks on it, put out on Hell's 100 Records. Hell's 100, badass label. 2004. So this was the second version reissue in 2004. The main, other than the fact that there are half the songs on the reissue, it's also enhanced with the music video that was recorded right around that time for Bad Luck. So I'll cut right now to shots of the close-ups of the actual physical releases. All right, here we go. Mr. Monster, Over Your Dead Body, original pressing. And you can definitely tell the original pressing because it was in this really, in my opinion, unique digipack with iconic Mr. Monster logo. I always liked their logo. Thought it looked really, really neat. Cover art was a little lackluster. Just have JV and Jason on the front. But then, this is where I say it's unique. Okay, so CD's in here. Now, it opens up like this. See that? Like, there's no way to replace that if it gets damaged. Kind of creepy interior artwork. If they just would have had better cover art, which kills me because their t-shirt art was amazing. And some thank yous. And if I could be wrong, but I believe Germs played bass at some point, probably live. I'm not sure who the drummer for the band was. So there's the original, the first version, and then here is the Hell's 100 repress that has even worse artwork. It's like this weird horror punk version of fucking Black Flag's Damaged, or like the aftermath of that fucking mirror that's in that on that album cover. The CD is this bloody handprint, which I believe is also fairly iconic when it comes to this band. That. And in the back, now note the track listing because it is way different. There's a bunch of songs missing from the original release to this one. But, you know, this one does have the enhanced version with The Night I Call Bad Luck, which, it honestly, I think was one of the first out of this scene's bands to put a music video together. One of the first. So there you go. Mr. Monster, Over Your Dead Body, both versions. Now we're back. Let me get into exactly how I first discovered Mr. Monster. So, this goes all the way back to, well, years ago I was a moderator on one of the many Misfits fan sites, 138.com. Probably it was easily one of the top 3 fan sites, and I was a moderator on the forums, and of course we were all Misfits, you know, aficionados, collectors, just straight up hardcore fans. And through that, we started really digging into underground spook rock. It was before horror punk was even a term. We had about 50,000 terms for it. I've said that before. And that was where we dug up Mr. Monster. We dug up Blitzkid, early Cancer Slug stuff, back when all they had was a website. I mean, their Cancer Slug's website was just nothing but MP3s. Like, man, that whatever. They put out shit tons of music that way. And, you know, MP3.com, if anyone fucking remembers that, back in those days, you know, Calabrese, Blitzkid, Mr. Monster, Nuke and the Living Dead. Just so many of these bands will put their stuff on mp3.com, and you could do searches like that and find their music. It was really cool. So I had heard about Mr. Monster. I didn't really dig into their stuff right off the bat. What got me was in 2003, I went to one of my first Blitzkid shows in Dayton, Ohio. It was at a club called 1470 West, and I'll insert. I've got the poster from that show that I'll splice in right here, and but it was at 1470 West, and it was such a surreal night. I went down to the show with John from Mumula and his then girlfriend, and then my best friend and a couple other moderators from 138.com. Oddly, most of us lived in Ohio. And John from Mumula was also a moderator on 138.com. So the horror scene in Ohio, West Virginia, and Kentucky and Indiana is like the most incestuous shit on the planet, like most scenes you get. So this show, and it was such a trippy show too, because Mr. Monster wasn't even at the show. I went down, it was Blitzkid and the Jackalopes, Temple of Misery, Morphic Resonance, who was a really shitty industrial band, and oddly, I know the bass player from that band. He lives in Yellow Springs, Ohio, and he's been told how bad they were, because I'm apparently an asshole. But we get to this show, and I'm just completely jonesed to see Blitzkid and the Jackalopes, and it was really my first undertaking with the Jackalopes too, which we'll get to some of their stuff later. I mean, that's fucking straight Ohio horror punk at its like greatest. That band kicks ass. But of course, you know, being one of my first Blitzkid shows, I'm a merch hound, especially for bands I love. So man, I jumped straight over to their merch table, and of course I introduced myself, and I had been online talking to TB a little, like, at least a year before I went to this show. I think it was a Halloween show. I've been talking to TB, and so, you know, I meet Ghouls, I meet TB. Gilby Deviant was in the band at the time as second guitarist, and Billy Bones was on drums. I knew Gilby from the Antidote Records message boards. I'm telling you, the Antidote message boards were pivotal for a lot of the early 2000s scene. I mean, we jumped around, but a lot of our connections in that early scene were made there. So at the merch table, Blitzkid was selling, obviously, Blitzkid merch, but lo and behold, they were selling Over Your Dead Body, and I picked up a copy of this. This is my original copy that I bought, 15, 16 years ago at this point. And I mean, it was, I had no idea what it was. I just knew Blitzkid was selling it. I had mad trust in those guys, so I picked it up. I don't even remember what all I bought that night. I just know I left that merch table with a shit ton of stuff. One of the original, if anyone remembers the Phantom of the Opera Blitzkid shirts and the Nosferatu Blitzkid shirts, like before even the two main logos they had, when they were still using like old English text. Yeah, I've got one of those floating around. So I pick up this record. Didn't listen to it till I got home. That was when I delved into the world of Mr. Monster. And woe is me. So, I love the music. Absolutely adored the music of this band. As soon as I wanted to love this band, I wanted to love it so fucking much. The songs are super well crafted. My thing about a band is if I don't like the vocalist, it fucking ruins it for me. No matter if I like the song, like material, like the subject matter, I can't do it. If the fucking vocalist is bad, And I'm sorry to break all of your hearts, people. Jason is a really, really shitty singer. I mean, he's bad. Bad. Occasionally, I've heard him do some okay things, but I mean, it's like 2 out of every 10 songs is good to my ears. Keep in mind, this is purely subjective. Art is always in the eye of the beholder. I'm simply going off what my own ears like. And my own ears say that Jason is horrible. Is he the worst in the world? No, not the worst in the world. I've certainly heard worse, but I've certainly heard a lot better. But damn, can he write a song? And you know what, Jason? Fucking get your shit together and bring out a new Mr. Monster record. Like, this is a call from me and so many other people. Don't listen to me about me not liking your singing. Just fucking get your ass up there and do it, because you have got thousands of people that want you to bring out a new Mr. Monster record. I mean, come on, man. Like, come on. I mean, you put a Kickstarter out to get it together, and you still haven't gotten your shit together. People are losing faith in you. Get it together. Put that shit out. Like, I don't even know. I'm barely a fan of your shit, and I'm telling you to get the fucking stuff out. Make more art. For real. But anyway, back to this. So, my personal opinion is that it has got some killer tracks, and where they really excelled around this time was they had James Rowe on board doing a lot of, like, most of their t-shirt artwork. And their t-shirt artwork is, man, the merch is, that's I swear that's how they got their cult following. Because, I mean, people like the music, but that merch just enhances everything. I mean, they're just killer t-shirt designs. From the Mr. Monster pumpkin to the fucking, just all the boo-wop stuff, like the graveyard greaser stuff. Oh, man. The artwork was just killer. And you can see, I mean, even the CD artwork doesn't really do it justice. I mean, there's the t-shirts, the stickers, the fan club stuff. Oh, that's the killer shit. But anyway, so listening to this, it's got some good tunes on it. I mean, I'm definitely not going to rip on it too bad, but I mean, I just don't like Jason's vocals. Highlight tracks for me are Little Frankenstein, Gore Whore, that's a great one, classic. Prom Night's pretty good. Murder for Hire, I think, is my favorite song on the whole record. Guaranteed to Bleed's really good. I mean, these are classic horror punk songs. Classic. You know, classic even with Jason's bad vocals. I want to listen to this, and when I do listen to it, on the occasion I pop it in, it makes me cringe. And I try. You can't fault a guy for trying because he wants to like something, but it's bad. Like I say, I've heard him sing better, and he gets better after this. His vocal, I don't know if he took singing lessons or what. Or just finally realized his ranges, but they're like the Deep Dark EP and the cover of Science Fiction Double Feature that's on the Fan Club CD. Great, he kicks ass on those vocals. What was the fucking deal with this shit? I don't know. He was young. I mean, it was songs that he wrote in the 90s, coming into the early 2000s, recording most of this stuff himself. I mean, I want to like Mr. Monster, especially this record. It is iconic as hell in the genre. It's just, the vocals fucking make me cringe. What more can I say? I would urge anyone into horror punk, into spook rock, into any of the dark, scary fucking sing-along, like, horror stuff. I doubt you're gonna find a copy. This fucking record is rare as shit. You're more likely to be able to find the volume 2, but fuck, if this isn't missing some songs. Yeah, Murder for Hire's not on it. There's a fair few songs, but it is enhanced and it does have Bad Luck on it. The music videos, or the Night I Call Bad Luck. So, I mean, that's something. But you are more likely to find volume 2 than you're going to find the original. I'd say the original was probably maybe 1,000 press, and that's probably really stretching the bill on that. It might be like 500. And never, past these two versions, as far as I know, it's never been repressed. Every now and again, JV does some random merch. That's about it. Yeah, hard to find, low pressing. Oddly, it's probably one of the rarer horror punk CDs I have, and it's dumb luck. I just bought it at my first show because I was trying to, well, I still try to soak in as much of the stuff as I can that sounds good to me. I picked that one up on a whim. Yeah, not many, like some people really search for this stuff, and I picked this one up on a whim. So that's it. Jason's vocals blow. The songs are really, really well written. What more to say about it? What I can say, and I'll leave it at this. Jason, this goes directly out to you. I am calling to you. Get it together. Put that new fucking record out. You know how many people I know want that? Seriously. A lot. And you did a Kickstarter for this. You've got people, I mean, hardcore fans of the band that really, really want this record. You can do it. I know you've got songs in you. Don't second guess yourself. Get off your ass. Look to your friends. Seriously. Like, a lot of people you know are putting out really good music. Get inspired by that. Because I know you've got it in you. Fucking put that shit out. You probably got half the songs written. Just get revved up and get in the studio. We know it's expensive. That's why the Kickstarter was there. You can do it, man. Don't listen to my ass. I know, like, I'm not a huge fan of your vocals, but I like your songwriting. I want to see more music. I want to see everyone making art. Art is life. Bring the horror. Long live the horror. That's coming straight from the Midnight Chamber. I'll see you next time.